Abraham, I missed you.
Thank you for coming in. You can no longer go out. Cynthia. Forgive me. Good evening, Esther. Good evening, Esther. Good evening, everybody. So we are 10 minutes or so. We're 10 minutes or so to. I'm sorry, please give me a moment.
Good evening.
Good evening, Esther. Good evening, Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. Will you be able to unmute? Oh, sorry, we're already unmuted. Will you be able to show video? Cynthia, did you hear what I said?
Sorry. What are we doing? Right. No.
Oh, I said, would you be able to show us your video?
Sorry, there's an issue here.
Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining us. We're so happy to have you. How is your day, right? If you're in the morning, how was your day? If you're in the evening, how did it go? How did it go? Welcome, Oluwole Daniel. Good evening, Sister Samuel Frank. We're so happy to have you, honored in fact, to have you join us. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We'll be beginning the session. The session has begun. So we're waiting for a couple more people to join. And if you have joined, please share the link with your family, with your friends, with your frenemies, and with your enemies, right? Tell them that Learn to Earn Summit has begun. Day 3 has begun. And that we're waiting for them. Tell them that we're waiting for them. There are lots of things to be learned. There's a lot of value to be given out today. And we are expectant. We are really, really expectant. I already have my notes open. I have my notes open already. And I hope you have your jotter beside you, whether it's online or it's physical, right? So in 2 minutes, can we just share the links to our statuses, to your Instagram story? Tell someone about the Learn to Earn Summit in 2 minutes. Just tell someone about the Learn to Earn Summit in 2 minutes. And you can tell me hi as well, because I'd love to hear your voice. So hola, buonanotte. If you understand Italian, that's good evening in Italian, right? Ciao, welcome. So I'd love to hear your voice, so you can speak back to me. You can tell me good evening in any language, even if it's Yoruba or Zimbabwean, or Philippines, any language of choice. Just tell me good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening to us from, and in whatever time you're listening, time zone. Bonsoir. Yes, thank you so much. Bonsoir, goodness. Good evening. If you don't understand French, that means good evening in French, right? So good evening, everybody. good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time zone you're listening to this from. But whatever time zone you're set to get value either way, right? So strap yourselves in, get your jotters, get your pens, or get your Google Docs open or your notes or your notepad, right? We're going to learn a lot. And be expectant, right? There's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. Sorry, pardon the background. I'm a student, as I know that so many of us are, right? So it's one of those things, I guess. It's one of those things. And if you're a student, I hope you've been reading for your exams. Sorry. Hi, Cynthia. Good evening. Hi. And everybody meet my co-anchor, Cynthia Akini. Cynthia, can you tell everyone
Hi.
hi? Hi. We're both happy to have you. We're both happy to have you. Right. So, Cynthia, how many languages do you speak? How many languages can you not fluently speak, but like how many languages can you support? Like two. Did you say two?
Yes.
Not a native language. I don't mean Yoruba. I mean like an actual language. Like not an actual language.
That's
I
what I
mean
know. Just Yoruba and English.
Yoruba and English. Okay, can you tell us good evening in Yoruba?
Ekale.
Ekroleo, ekaleo. Oh my days. Thank you so much. And if you're on the call, you can just tell us good evening or good morning in your own dialect, whether it's Igbo or it's Yoruba. You know, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us for the Learn to Earn Summit Day 3. You know, we're about to begin. So I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Bill Emmanuel. I am a co-host for today, but for now, I will be signing out and allowing Cynthia to take the lead. So Cynthia, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad that you guys joined. My name is Akini Kindat, and I'm your co-host. I'm your host for the free Learn to Earn Summit. Yesterday we learned a lot, but I'll just like to go over what Learn to Earn Summit is all about. And the Learn to Earn Summit is a summit that has been put up by the MAI Foundation to help educate both young and old on how to become financially wise and enlightened. It's a summit that is set to bless and lead people on the path of financial breakthrough and success. Yeah, that's just what it's about. And if you were here yesterday, I'm sure that you do remember what we learned and how that being a billionaire starts from your mindset, right? Yeah, so Brother Ayo spoke to us on how levels of wealth, charity, self-sufficiency, till we got to the last one, which is wealth. Today we have a very special person in our midst. He's a young political enthusiast, award-winning public speaker and writer, personal finance coach, serial investor, and an advocate for youth involvement in politics and governance. He is the youngest ever student union government president. Wow, ever in Nigeria, as he assumed office at the age of 19 as the SUG president of Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. He is the founder of Financial Fitness Clinic, a financial education startup geared towards increasing financial inclusion amongst young people in Africa and helping them get on their wealth building journey over 7,800 participants from 16 countries already in 25 months. He had only just begun. He is the convener of Financial Fitness Conference, the largest financial literacy conference in Nigeria. He has a BTech Geology, a certificate on global financial markets and investment portfolio management from Rice University, Texas, USA, as well as a certification on investment banking from EduBridge Academy, Lagos, Nigeria. In his words, if you know better, you will do better. I'd like to introduce this person, and his name is Frank Samuel Chigozirim. Brother Samuel, please, would you like to say more about yourself? Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good evening. Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me. Good evening.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right. So am I good to go? Am I good to go?
Yes, yes, yeah. You can go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone, from whatever part of the world you're joining in from. Good evening. It's an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you for that. Thank you, Cynthia, for the profile. I'm just one small boy by God's grace and God's help. So all of those things people heard, maybe like 10% are lies, but we are just pushing. We are pushing on. Thank you, Ayo, for the privilege to be here. I find it a great honor. Aya has been in my DM since for over 2 months now. Every day I get an update from him as regards this event, and I'm glad that it's holding, and I'm live to speak with you guys. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. I believe that the link has been posted in the comment section. Feel free to share it, because when I kick off, there's no slowing down till I am done. So feel free to share the link to someone. Just invite the person, tell the person, hey, something explosive is going on here. All right. So thank you very much. Hi guys, please confirm you can hear me. Sorry, I had a bit of network glitch. Please confirm you can hear me now.
I can hear you, sir.
Hi, Cynthia. Please confirm. Okay.
Yeah, I can
all right.
hear you.
Okay. Let's go. All right. So I'm looking at. I was told my topic is financial literacy in the 21st century. Financial literacy in the 21st century, and it's a topic, is a conversation that I'm very passionate about, and I believe that we are going to take a thing or two at the end of this conversation. And when we talk about financial literacy, it's a very vast topic, right? It's a very vast topic. It's a very wide conversation to have. But I'm going to make it as detailed as possible so that it doesn't just sound like our usual aspire to perspire kind of conversation, right? I'm going to do my utmost best to ensure that it doesn't sound like any of your aspire to aspire conversations. Now, recently, just yesterday, the National Poverty Index was launched in Nigeria, and it was discovered that we have 133 million Nigerians that are poor. I'll say that again. The National Poverty Index was launched in Nigeria yesterday, and it was launched so that we can have an idea of the figures to plan in the 2030 sustainable development goals and whatever that we have as a country, right? And it was discovered that we have 133 million Nigerians that are poor. Now, if we have 133 million Nigerians, our population has been analyzed, has been guessed, has been whatever to be around 216 million people. Now, if we are at 216 million people and we have 133 million living in extreme poverty, it means we have more than 52% of the Nigerian population living in extreme poverty. Hello, everybody. We are 13 people on this call. It means that we have at least 7 people out of the 30 people here that are poor. I'll say that again. It means that we are 13 on this call. It means 7 out of the 13 of us are living in poverty. If we do random sampling, right? We are in a deep problem. And when you take a look at it, there are a lot of things that have led to it, right? A lot of things, from government regulations to security to infrastructure to food security. There's a lot, right? There's a lot that has led to it. But at the base of the conversation, especially for young people, at the base of the conversation is information, is knowledge. So that's why we're having this conversation today, right? That's why we're having this conversation on financial literacy in the 21st century. That's why it's important that it is, that's why it should be infused in our curriculum, right from secondary schools, even to the universities. Right? I was doing a research while preparing for this topic, and I figured out that in the United States, in 2019, that there was a law that was passed that you cannot graduate from secondary school without studying for at least 6 months on personal finance. You cannot graduate from some states, in some secondary schools in some states in the US. From secondary school, you cannot graduate without doing at least 6 months of a personal finance course. Some, you have to do it before you get to the university, or maybe 3 years of UG or SAT or whatever it is. You have to do at least 6 months of studying personal finance. Why? The moment you break into adulthood, more than 90% of the decisions you make are not spiritual decisions. More than 90% of the decisions you make are not emotional decisions. More than 90% of the decisions you make are not family decisions. They are what? They are financial decisions. Who you marry is a financial decision. Where you live is a financial decision. Your course of study, whether undergraduate, master's, or PhD, is a financial decision. The country you decide to jump into, you plan to jump is a financial decision. More than 90% of the decisions you make, the kind of business you step into is a financial decision. The kind of job you want to do is a financial decision. And if you have the wrong financial knowledge at the moment of breaking into adulthood, the tendency is high that you will make the worst of financial decisions by the time you break into adulthood, except life will teach you hard lessons. Except life will teach you hard lessons. So that's why this conversation is important. And I noted down some things, right? So while I was praying for this, I noted down that the most important decision that a young person can learn is how to manage their money. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a conversation with young people in a way, teach them on how to save, multiply, and manage their money. And trust me, that conversation, I'm not sure they will be on their seats by the end of it, because they will not be funny. I am literally going to be savage. Right? It's not going to be a very funny conversation. So if you're listening to me, I'm not here to pamper. I'm not here to let you appetite. I'm not here to tell you if you can think it, you can achieve it. I'm not here to tell you the money is in your mind. It's not your mind, anything, because there's nothing in the mind. There's nothing in the mind, right? So it's a very important conversation that I believe we are having. The most important lesson that a young person can learn is how to manage their money. Education prevents mistakes. Education prevents errors, right? I see a lot of 2020 exposed a lot of nonsense that young people have known about money. They've always felt that it has to be quick, it has to be very fast, and it has to be, you don't have to stress so much, just put it somewhere to just flip all of a sudden, thought of very erroneous mistakes about money. And while I was noticing all of that error, was why I even started my brand, Financial Fitness Clinic. So Financial Fitness Clinic was born out of seeing nonsense everywhere around me. The nonsense decisions that young people were making about money. Right? That was like the basis behind my Financial Fitness Clinic was started. Okay, and it was done so that education can be available, to the average young person out there, whether in Nigeria or in the continent of Africa. Education prevents the mistakes that young people are eventually going to make when it comes to money, when it comes to their finances. Education. Now, what is financial literacy? My topic is financial literacy with the person. So, of course, I must do some form of definition. Guys, I hope we are following. Please confirm we are following the conversation. I want to be sure that I'm not alone.
Yes, sir. I'm doing.
All right. So, what is financial literacy, right? Financial literacy is the act of acquiring a set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. I'll say that again. Financial literacy is the act of acquiring a set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. For the last time, financial literacy is the act of acquiring a set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. Financial literacy involves the skillfulness of financial principles and concepts, such as number one, financial planning. If you're writing, you should write this part, very important. Financial planning, budgeting, forecasting, compound interest, debt management, profitable savings techniques, understanding the value of money, and finally, principles of wealth management. 8 of them. I'll just go over it, right? So I said financial literacy involves the skillfulness of financial principles and concepts, such as financial planning, budgeting, forecasting, compound interest, debt management, profitable savings techniques, understanding the value of money, and principles of wealth management. Let's go on, right? So I mentioned earlier, there's a data that I need to share to you guys, but we'll find a way around it, right? So in the US in 2019, September 2019, a law was passed that, like I said, that if you're going to graduate from high school, you must take a personal finance course. And I think that the US, they actually did a really great thing, because if you were someone you're very conversant with the financial status, personal finance status of Americans, you would notice that debt is like a core part of their life. Like, they live their life on credit. They live their whole life. The cars they buy, the houses they live in, the schools they go to. It's like they are bankrolled by credit in the United States. It seems like they are bankrolled by credit. So it's an important conversation. That's why I think they took it really serious and they had to pass, that law. In about 5 states now, in America, you can't graduate from secondary school without doing personal finance courses, right? Now, one of the things that drives me when we talk about personal finance, one of the things that I'm really passionate about is the fact that when you look at the financial inclusion map of the globe, when you look at the financial inclusion map of the globe, it shows you how backward Africa is. It shows you how very backward Africa is. And financial inclusion is a clear determinant. It's a clear determinant of the growth, of the economic growth of that country. Because what drives the economic growth is the people, is the citizens. How exactly are they going to drive it if they are not literate? I'm just going to run through because I'm looking at the data right in front of me. I'm looking at the data right in front of me, the financial literacy rate in All right, guys, please confirm you can hear me. I think I had network glitch. Please confirm you can hear me, guys. All right, so let's go. Let's go. So I said I was having data in front of me of
I can't, sir.
Can you hear me? Please confirm you can hear me, guys.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. I just needed to be sure.
Yes, I can. Correct.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I said that I'm literally looking at the data of financial literacy rate in Africa, and the figures are appalling. The highest of all the countries in Africa is in Botswana. The highest financial literacy rate in Africa is in Botswana, and Botswana has 52%. That's 52% of the population of Botswana. They are financially literate. They have a certain level of financial literacy. The top 5 economic countries in Africa, I'll just go look at what their figures are like. So we have Nigeria, which is like the number 1 economy in Africa, which is at 26%. Egypt, which is number 2, is at 27%. South Africa, which is number 3, is about 42%. Morocco, which is number 4, is somewhere below 22%. Same for Ethiopia is somewhere around 32%, which is pretty great. Tanzania is about 40%. Rwanda, where's Rwanda? Rwanda is somewhere between 32 to 40%. Right? And when you take a look at these figures, it gives you an idea of how they would be willing to accept certain financial products, how they'll be willing to understand and relate to certain issues when it comes to personal finance, when it comes to finance in general. Because, of course, someone who does not understand how debt management works will never understand how mortgage works. Such a person will never understand how to take a loan and maximize a loan. These are financial products that are available to regular individuals out there in the developed world. And they have access to, they are maximizing it. They know how to plan with mortgage, they know how to plan with credit, they know how to do all of these things. But you find out that in economies like Nigeria, who claim to be the superpower of Africa, financial literacy level is appalling at 26%. So you see a lot of people who don't know how to manage them, who don't know how to manage credit, who don't know how to even who don't know how loans work, who don't know how lending services work, who don't know how investment works, right? People who don't know how to maximize interest rates. Go out there and ask the average person, what do you think your bank pays you for saving? Does not know. If I ask on this call now, I want to do a random sampling. How many persons here know how much your bank pays you for saving in a whole year? How many persons? I just want to test. How many persons? I wish we could do a poll. Find out how many persons. Please confess. This is a knowledge sharing session, so I'm going to help. If you don't have an idea, I'm going to tell you. So feel free to be vulnerable. Feel free to say it. How many persons know how much your bank pays you in a year from let's say you say from January to December, how much they are going to pay you in a year for saving? How many persons know? Don't go and Google it. Don't go and Google anything. Someone says you don't. Okay. Who else? If you have an idea, feel free to just drop it in the comment section. All right, guys, please confirm you can hear me now. I think I was logged out. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, sir. I can.
All right. Okay. So let's move. So I was saying that your bank pays you 4.5% in a year for saving, and why they started paying you that much is not because they like you. Just so you know, it's not that they like you, because I remember very well September 2020. It was 1.15% for a whole year. That's saving with your regular normal bank, your banks. I don't need to mention them, your banks. For a whole year, it was 1.15%. Now it's at 4.5%. Why is it at 4.5%? It's not because they like you, like I said. It's because of the fact that inflation has grown so much that they are looking for ways to cushion the effect so that people will see the need to still bring money to if not, people want to be spending money that they are making. So they raise the rate so that people can see the need. And when that happens, it means that if you're going to access loans in the bank now, it's going to be at a much more higher rate than what it was before. But how many of us are aware of this information? How many of us even bother ourselves about this information? That's what we are saying is financial literacy. That's the financial literacy we are talking about. It's not about if you think it can achieve it. That's what we're talking about. So you are bothered about even how much your mutual funds is making, how much your money market investments are making. You're concerned about the dividends that your investments are paying you. As of 2018, a research was done in Nigeria, and it was said that the financial exclusion rate was at 36.8% in 2018. I think that research was not even done accurately, because it should be way more than that. If our financial literacy rate as at 2018 was 26%, it should be much worse than that. But let's move on. What happens when there's lack of financial literacy? Let's move on. What happens when there's lack of financial literacy? There's debt, right? Debt. People don't know how to manage their money, so they get into a lot of debt. They make poor financial decisions. They are victims of predatory lending. How many of us know all the loan apps that will threaten your family, your children, your cousins, your uncles, your village people, your everybody, because you borrowed from them. How many of us know of this lending apps? Let's see. I want to see the hands up. You could just type in the comment section. How many of us know of them? Someone says there are so many nowadays. Actually, there's a lot. There's a lot of them, right? So you just see one very funny message. I think in the last 1 year, I've got like message from four different loan apps or loan sharks, like we call them, about different people, that they defaulted. Some of these loan sharks, they will threaten you, they will carry your name and put in a calabash and put in a shrine and all of these things, right? So what happens when there's lack of financial literacy is that the people become victims of predatory lending. There's a prime mortgage where you can't access prime mortgage facility. Fraud and high interest. Fraud. People have gotten into crazy Ponzi schemes just because they don't have an idea of how financial literacy works, right? And of course, bankruptcy. Recently, I know a lot of us have heard of the whole FTX thing. Let me say this, that you see someone playing in the finance space doesn't mean the person has the necessary financial literacy for the actions he or she is taking in the finance space. That's why Ponzi schemes are everywhere. So you had the FTS, so a lot of persons FTS everywhere, left, right, and center. FTS made crazy finance decisions. Some things that basic financial knowledge of basic financial literacy would have avoided. As in, when I mean basic, the very basic financial, you don't live on debt, you don't live on borrowed money. You don't live your life on borrowed money. Basic is a very basic financial. You don't borrow people's money when you don't have a structured plan on how to pay. You don't borrow people's money that they placed here. It's basic financial. That's why I said someone that is playing that is said to be playing in financial space doesn't mean the person has the necessary financial. No, it doesn't mean the person has the necessary financial literacy ability to play in that space. All right. So we've looked at what happens when there's lack of financial literacy. What is the result? What are the signs of lack of? What is it that you can see in somebody's life and you're like, I'm not sure this person has the requisite financial literacy. So some persons might be shaking their tables. Please permit me. I don't harm. I don't hurt. I'm just doing what I was sent as a messenger from heaven to do. All right. So let's go. What are the signs of lack of financial literacy? No budget. No. No budgeting. Number 2, excessive spending. Number 3, living on debt. Number 4, no emergency savings. Number 5, borrowing for the wrong reasons. Number 6, banking unexpected money. You see someone and every time, I dey hope for this money, it will come. Make I just collect money. I dey hope for this money, it will come. Every time, the person they hope for money when they come. Number 7, not investing for the long term. You see someone and the person is looking at, how can I put this 1,000 and it turns to 1 million in 2 days? That's a sign. The person does not have the person is poor when it comes to financial literacy. Ignoring insurance. That's number 8. Number 9, no retirement plan. I know someone will be asking, I'm too young to be setting a retirement plan. You think you are too young? I know a lot of persons ignore insurance. Like some person, and there are a lot of persons that I've seen a lot of young people that when you bring up the idea of insurance, they're like, why? I'm young, nothing will happen to me. God will help you. That something will not happen to you. And number 10, pressure from social media and friends. I'll go through it again, 10 of them. What are the 10 signs of lack of financial literacy? Number 1, no budget. Number 2, excessive spending. Number 3, living on debt. Number 4, no emergency savings. Number 5, borrowing for the wrong reasons. Number 6, banking on unexpected money. Number 7, not investing for the long term. Number 8, ignoring insurance. Number 9, no retirement plan. And number 10, pressure from social media and friends. All right, so let's go. Steps to achieving financial literacy. What can you do? What can you do? Number one, what can you do? Learn how to create a budget. Learn how to create a budget. So when I'm having conversations around my personal finance journey and the likes, and people ask, okay, so Frank, where was the starting point from? I remember my late 100 level getting to 200, early 200 levels. I remember that period. And then 5,000 naira was something. 5,000 a month was something. You know, my monthly allowance at that point was between 5,000 and 7,000 a month. Sometimes you could get as high as 10,000. But because I knew I wasn't getting so much from home, of course, and then I started a small side business while in school. I had to practice what is called strict with like capital letter STRICT, strict budgeting. And if you're a Christian here, and you are trying to like start off your wealth building journey, I would advise that you start budgeting even to the point of budgeting your offering. So I knew how much was coming every month, and I had to plan. I had to plan. Very important. I had to plan every single kobo. Where was it going to? Where was it going to? Right? How much am I using to spend on food? How much am I using to spend on my personal care? How much was I spending on maybe materials or lecture notes or whatever? How much was I spending on all of that? How much was I even spending on offering? Like I was budgeting my offering, and I think at the point my offering was like we had like 12. I was attending like 12 services in a month, 3 services per week. So like if you look at 4 weeks, so that's like 12 services in a month, including Sundays. So in my head, I knew what I was doing. 15 naira. No matter what the pastor will preach, you can preach up, preach down, go left, go right, whatever he wants to say. That 15 naira that I decided in my heart to give. As I come to church, I give it and I go my way. It's my clear conscience. Because I created my budget and nothing was going to scatter it. Nothing. So learn how to create budget. Number 2, ability to track your spending. Where is your money going to? So this year, over the 4 batches of the financial mentorship program that I run, there's something I was doing with my mentees. So when they get into the program, one of the first things they do is that I ask them to print their last 3 months financial statement. They print their bank statement and take a look at it. And I tell them that let that bank statement talk to you if what you're doing is making sense or not. I think a lot of you might need to do that. One of these days, just print your bank statement. Let it talk to you. Let it give you small sense if you will not get sense from anywhere. Ability to track your spending. Where does your money go to? And it's very bad because you have a lot of you have a lot of people who wake up in the morning and they just move out their normal day. Guys, please just give me a moment. All right. So guys, please confirm you can hear me in back. Yeah. All right, please
Yes,
confirm
we
you can hear me.
can.
All right. So I said ability to track your spending, right? And I was just giving a scenario of what I think my mentees through, and I tell them like, hey guys, you print 3 months of the financial statement and take a look at it. Let it talk to you. I'm sure if there are people that will do this here and they will go on a retreat and ask God, what is happening to me? Because a lot of you don't even know that you are spending so much. And ability to track your spending. Let's go to the third one. Learning the techniques to pay off debt. So people get into debt for a lot of reasons. Some people out of their wrong decisions they made in the past, mistakes. Some persons, they did not plan for it. Certain life happened to them and they just had to find ways to borrow to like stay above, keep their head above water, which is not wrong, all right? But then you need to master how to pay off debt, right? And one of the most important skills in paying off debt is communication. It's not even paying the debt itself. A lot of people don't know. One of the most important skills in paying off debt, one of the most important techniques in paying off debt is not even the paying of the debt. It's not even making more money. It's communication. It's communication with your debtors, right? So it's important that communication is established, right? And you take a look at them, take a look at your income, what you're making, what you propose to be making, and then say, okay, which of the debts can I take care of first, right? Start with the small one, you upload the small one, then you start breaking the big ones into bits, right? You can extend the payout times, you can, however you want to do, but communication first, right? But you must learn the techniques to pay off debt. Number 4, effectively planning for retirement. And that's where financial goals now come in. All right. The last point is setting financial goals. Steps to achieving financial literacy. Another one is reading financial literacy books. I just need to add that to number 6. Reading financial literacy books. So I'll just go over the 6 steps. Learning how to create a budget, important. Ability to track your spending. Learning the techniques to pay off debt. Effectively planning for retirement. Setting financial goals. And reading financial literacy books. Of course, attending webinars like this, seminars like this, being part of conversations of this nature are also part of it. Right. So, what are the benefits of financial literacy? We've taken a look at what is financial literacy. We've taken a look at data, understanding our situation in Nigeria and the likes. I've also looked at what happens when there's lack of financial literacy. What happens when there's lack of it? What are the signs of lack of financial literacy? What are the steps to achieving it? So let's look at what are the benefits, right? Is it good? Is it beneficial? Is it important? How do we gain from it, right? So number 1 is self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency, self-sufficiency, self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency. You become financially confident when you're literate. It's more like, have you ever seen a small child that has been exposed to so much knowledge, that child becomes so full of himself? It's not bad. It's not bad. Becomes so full of himself that I've known it. And you're asking that child, what is 1 plus 1? 2. What is 2 plus 2? 4. What is 4 plus 4? 8. Very proud. Why? Because he knows. But when he does not know, they ask him, what is 4 plus 4? That's how a lot of us are. I don't know if I'm shaking something stable, but no offense. No offense to anybody. Right? Self-sufficiency is one of the first benefits of financial literacy. You become financially confident. Number 2, financial stability. You're able to manage you're able to put your finances in order. You're able to stabilize yourself. You're able to know, okay, this period, everywhere is looking for you, so I need to adjust. You look at, okay, this period is a period of this boom. So what kind of decisions do I make so that I will, remain in my boom period, in this season of fruitfulness? You're able to understand financial stability and make decisions that will allow you to live financially stable life. Number 3, national economic growth. Right? Nations will grow when financial literacy level grows, because when financial literacy level grows, financial inclusion rate goes up. When financial inclusion rate goes up, a lot more people will understand how to use financial products, and economy is better for it. And internal and external financial challenges better. Allow me to say this, that even people in government don't know financial literacy. It doesn't make any sense to spend all you earn on paying off debt and borrowing more and creating no system to earn more. It is not a it's a basic financial literacy. It's very basic. Very, very basic. Like it's very, very basic. All right. So management of internal and external financial challenges, you'll be able to manage it better. Right. So when I get into a season where things are not really great, that maybe I am cash broke, not like wealth broke, like I am cash broke. At this moment, I'm like, okay, fine. What are those things you can cut down on? Like reduce. Are you eating a lot out? You can start cooking. Start cooking in the house. You can remember that at least you know how to cook rice, indomie, all of those basic things, so that you can keep a lot more money. But when you don't know that you're supposed to watch those periods, money goes still come now. You start banking on expected money. That's a sign of lack of financial literacy. Start banking on expected money, it will come, and you just start until when you now eventually get into the point of bankruptcy or where your cash starts, and you're like, you now have to go back to being in debt. You start a cycle of debt, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Right. So these are the benefits, right, of financial literacy. So what extra can I add to this conversation? I think it's important that I just say a thing or two. What extra can I add to this conversation? It's important that, especially for young people, it's important that you are intentional about information regarding financial literacy. It's important that you're intentional about it, guys. Like really, really, really intentional. It's important that you're intentional about it. It's going to show in the coming years, in the decisions you make. Like I said when I started, that when you break into adulthood, more than 90% of the decisions you make are not moral decisions, are not spiritual decisions, are not family decisions, are not emotional decisions. They are financial decisions. Who you live with, who you marry, where you work, the kind of business you do, the number of children you want to have. They are all financial decisions. Even the kind of church you attend, a lot of times, not even because of the place is the best of the that people know is a financial decision. The schools you send your children to, the schools you go for either your master's or your undergraduate or your PhD, the kind of recreational facilities you'll attend, the kind of events and conferences you want to find yourself in. Financial decisions. So you have to be very intentional about it. Very intentional about it. All right. So guys, I believe that there are questions for me. So feel free to drop them. Feel free to drop your questions so I can take as much as possible for questions. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So like you heard, if you have any questions for our speaker, just drop them in the chat room and they'll be read to him and he'll answer. So I have one question before the questions begin to come in. I have one question. So you were talking about how reading financial books is an important step in financial literacy, right? But I feel like, and I think I'm onto something here, that not every financial book will help you financially. Like, no, not everybody that writes a finance book is financially sound. Am I correct to saying that?
Not everybody that has read a financial book and do not practice it. I think, because it's not about reading. It's not about reading it, right? It's not about reading it. It's about reading it and practicing it, because you can read financial literacy books and you're not doing what is in the book. So I think that it's important that as much as people read financial literacy books, they should also put into practice, because at the end of the day, I think the people who wrote the books did not just write them so that you can have a storybook to read about their life and their history and all of that. They did it so that you would make better decisions than they did, or you learn from the decisions they've already made and make wiser ones. So that's what I think. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. So I think I should rephrase my question, because so you were talking about how, like, what we're going to hear today is not normal aspire to Maguire. It's all in your head. So, like, what should I look for when I'm looking to get more financial literacy books? What are the things that I should look for? Because resources are limited.
All right. So what you should be looking out for is what different thing do you want to know? So when I look out for financial literacy books, there's a lot of recommendations everywhere. But I'm like, do I already know this thing? If I already know it, there's no need.
Understood. And I agree. Oh, I think he was locked out for a bit, but he will be coming back very soon. So yes, Wura Oladipo, I did see your question.
Guys, can you hear me?
Okay, and
all right.
Orishanwa
Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I think we talk long. All right. So I was saying that I'm trying to remember so I'm looking out for a different thing in the book I want to buy. All right. I'm looking out for will this book show me an area of my personal finance that I have neglected? Right. There are certain books that I needed to read to understand that the knowledge that I have, that I share, I can monetize it. I did not know that before, right? There are books that I need to know how much of a mental strength I need when it comes to wealth building, because life will show you shaggy. But you have to like have the necessary so I needed what kind. So I'm looking for what is different, in the book that I'm going to get, that would allow me to be a lot better finance wise. So it's just difference in the fact that okay, there's something different in this book. And I need it at this point too. So it's more like I will not someone will not go and buy a book on how to, let's say, on how to invest in mortgage at your 90s. So someone will not buy that book because it's not relevant to me at this stage. It's not relevant. I don't need it. Right? At this stage, I'm not looking for if you think it, you can achieve it kind of finance book. I'm not looking for it. I've read Think and Grow Rich. So I've read Think and Grow Rich. I know that I can think and I can grow rich. I know that my mind has a huge part to play when it comes to my world building journey. So I am not looking for anything to enhance that further. I am looking for, okay, how can I invest in real estate from Nigeria, in Canada, and build wealth? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for how can I transform, how can I better package the knowledge I'm sharing so that people can pay me more? How can I translate a financial literacy brand to becoming a fintech brand and make more money? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for how to, on how I can, from owning one property to owning two, to owning three, to owning four, to owning 100. I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for how exactly can I manage my finances in a way that I can live how I want to live confidently, and I am still growing, right? I'm looking for how exactly can I break into certain spaces when it comes to finance. I'm looking for how exactly can I take certain level of calculated risk. That's the kind of knowledge I'm looking for.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have two questions currently. One says, thank you, sir. How would you advise younger people to go about making retirement plans?
Okay, so how exactly do I advise you going about making retirement plan? Young people for retirement plan? It's simple. Just set a financial goal. Set a financial goal. I think it's pretty simple. Set a financial goal because set a long-term goal. I think it deals with that. You can set a 10-year goal, 15-year goal, 20-year goal, right? Set those goals, right? Set it. Let that goal be smart. As in, let there be a specific figure tied to it. Think about it. By the time I'm 50, how much would I have that I can confidently retire? I will not work again for money. When I am 60, how much do I want to have when I'm 60 that I will never lift a finger to work for anybody? Those are the kind of questions you need to ask. Tie it to figures. If it's $1 billion, tie it to 1 billion. If it's $1 million, tie it to $1 million. 2 million, tie it. So you know exactly what you're aiming for. It's easier to chase for retirement that way. It's easier to plan for retirement that way, especially when you're young. Especially when you're young.
So another says, when you talked about paying little debt before the higher debt, what if the person or the body you're owing isn't an easy person to convince, so you can actually spread the refund? What would you advise such person to do?
All
Because
right,
it might
now the
seem to be the
person.
higher debt.
Now the truth is, like I said, one of the biggest skills when it comes to paying debt is not even paying the debt itself, it's the communication, right? So you must be able to still communicate to the person, even if the person is a difficult person. The person cannot draw out the money from your skin. Even if the person carries you and puts you in the police station, the money will not come out from your body. So it's still communication. That's the truth. It's still communication. It will not come out from your body. They will not maybe cut your hand or cut your leg or cut your eye or whatever. It's still you that has to work for the money you're going to use to pay the person. But the person needs to, if the person does not see you have a structured plan that makes sense, the person will throw into cell and will not mind. Right? So that's why I said communication. Right? Let the person, and then you yourself, you have a plan, set a plan in place. Okay, this is how I'm going to make money. This is how I'm going to also. This is the job I'm taking. This is what I want to do. And that's my plan to raise the money. When the person sees it and it makes sense, even the person will be like, okay, but if you can shorten the time. But no wahala. I thought I saw another question somewhere. I think someone was asking also when making plans for the future or retirement plans, sometimes unavoidable events or expenses can showcase. What do you do? All right. Can you hear me? Bello, can you hear me? I think the network is breaking.
Yeah, making. No, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, sir. It's fine.
All right.
I'm hearing
So
you just fine.
I'll just answer that question. So the person was asking what can he or she do if unexpected. That's why in your budget, when you learn to budget, they'll always advise that you have emergencies, right? Create an emergency savings account. An emergency savings account, financial analysts will say that you should take care of at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, right? So that in any case where you cannot work, it happens and you just can't do anything to make money at that point, you can you have something to at least put yourself up together while trying to bounce. That's where emergency savings come in. What else could happen? Maybe the bank, your retirement money with whatever, they go maybe bankrupt or they go insolvent. Chances are really slim that may happen, but I think someone said, wise man said in the Bible that you should cast your seed in 7 or 8 different places. That's where diversification comes. That's where diversification comes in to protect yourself also.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and for answering those questions. I have learned so much. I have learned so much, and thank you for the actionable steps as well. We were honored having you. We learned so much. Thank you so much, sir. And to everyone, every participant, this was just the dress rehearsal. This was the dress rehearsal. The actual thing is going to happen when you drop this call. I wake up tomorrow morning and have to buy something, right? That's when the dress rehearsal becomes practical, when it becomes evident in your spending decisions. So this is the dress rehearsal. So we're happy to have you for this dress rehearsal though. Thank you for giving us your time as well. You're all superstars, So I'd like us to do something in a very, very short time, right? So I'm just going to ask, what is one thing that you will start doing from now, right? And what's one thing that you stop doing? What is one thing that you start doing and what is one thing that you stop doing? After this session, what is one thing that you start doing and what is one thing that you stop doing? Oh, and also, please endeavor to fill the attendance. We'd like to have your details so we can reach out to you from time to time, remind you and see how you're doing, right? Please endeavor to fill the attendance. We'd like to have the details. Thank you so much. So back to my question, I said, what's one thing that you start doing from now on? And what's one thing that you stop doing? So just let me know. For me, I'm going to print my 3 months back statement and let it talk to me. That's one thing I'll start doing. I think, and learning how to create a budget is another thing that I will start doing, right? Living without a budget is one thing I will stop doing. And printing my bank statement and learning how to create a budget. I'm really, really happy that, you mentioned that it was learn how to create a budget, so you learn it. So, Roda Oladipo says, I will start making long-term and actionable goals. I'll stop taking my finances with levity. I'll start budgeting as well. Thank you so much, Rura. I wish you all of the best with your goals. Orisanua Abigail, I really hope I pronounced that well, says, I will stop spending anyhow. Abigail, I will advise that you make that goal a bit smarter. Spending anyhow is a very big term. So you might want to niche down on what makes you spend anyhow. what do you consider anyhow spending, right? So that you can deal with. Sorry. Oh dear. Oh dear. Stop it. Hmm. Sorry, pardon me. Call came in. Oluwole, yeah. Oluwole Daniel says, one thing I'll start doing is to always create a budget. And he says he will stop spending unnecessarily, right? So thank you so much for your time, everybody. It's 9:10. So this will be a goodbye from us at MAI. Thank you for joining us for this 3-day summit. We hope to have you for any other summits we might have, right? So please endeavor to fill in the attendance. Please endeavor to fill in the attendance. The link is bit.ly/LT3, right? So let me post the link now.